Hello everyone, today we'll be doing an impromptu version of Analyzing Today's UFO Clips, episode 36. For those who are new to this channel, I'd like to start off by saying that in this series, we analyze UFO clips you or anyone else can find on the internet. Sure, we all want to get to the bottom of this UFO mystery, but here, it's our guilty pleasure to watch and analyze UFO clips because, well, we love the UFOs, right? Also, don't forget to stick around to the end of the video to find out how you can win a free embroidered hoodie for this month of December. So this week we're going to do an impromptu show because our original intention was to complete a video we're doing on the Turkish UFO incident, offering a brand new perspective on what we think we're actually looking at in this video. But as luck would have it, the video's taking a little longer than we anticipated. So today we're just putting together a quick video because we like to put out weekly content. So this video might be a little short and short on commentary. Here's our first clip we ran into this week.
What is that? Yeah, what is going on? Yeah, that is bizarre, dude. Like, what's going on, man? Like, there's one circling. You see that one circling over there? And then they go away.
Like, it almost looked like how they had like the small lights on it.
Yeah, like what is happening?
But yeah, look at it trail behind there.
Yeah.
What I don't understand is how they're circling so close.
Yeah, what is going on there?
Whatever's trailing behind them just disappears.
Yeah, then it's gone.
That's bizarre. That's unbelievable. I've never seen anything like that in my whole
What
life.
the heck is that, man?
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Certainly a weird video, but it has the aspects that you know I like. The human emotional side of it all. I like how a certain number of us have had the privilege of seeing something amazing or just plain out weird in the sky, and I love the emotion it provokes out of us. The man who's watching this in the sky is in complete wonderment, and I think to myself that's pretty awesome. But what is he looking at? Well, as usual, when it comes to cell phone videos of lights in the sky, it's always difficult to tell what we're looking at just from the video. But you know what? We've seen things like this in the past. Like the recent lights over Las Vegas, which actually turned out to be parachuters, or at least that's the official story. One thing I can tell you, however, is that they do seem to be hovering for quite some time and even go upwards to circle around right here. And correct me if I'm wrong, but flares don't normally do donuts up in the sky, so I would say we could maybe rule that out, which leaves us with only a few options. Either they're drones, maybe parachuters, or something just really unconventional, if you know what I mean. And what about the objects circling this whole thing? Are those two objects in close proximity, or is it just one object with two lights? Again, hard to tell from the video, but we don't see any blinking FAA lights on it, which are typically found on normal aircraft. So what do you guys think? Is this video something you have more information on? Or have you seen something like this yourself? Please let us know in the comments down below. Next is not a video, but actually a pair of photos that I found online of a disc that seems to be floating alongside an airplane. As you can see from these photographs, it's a pretty classic UFO shape with a dome on top. And yes, it really does look odd, but from the pictures it appears like this thing is moving. And at first, I immediately thought fake. And what made me think that is the saturation of the blue coming from the object. When we look at this image as a whole, the UFO itself looks out of place, and not because of its oddness, but more because of its color. In both photos, the blue from the object seems to be much richer than everything else in the scene, except maybe for the airplane. It just looks really out of place. But here's what I found interesting about this set of photos. If we look at up-close shots of the object in question, on photo 1, and now on photo 2, and now let's go ahead and put them side by side. And here's what I found weird. The pixels are completely different, as well as the color in certain places of this object. Now, why is that significant? Let's go ahead and get a UFO picture from somewhere else, and let's say we want to put this fake UFO in this scene. We're going to go ahead and make it go alongside the object in these photos. So what we'll do is shrink it down to the size of the UFO in the picture, then we'll put it next to it. Then for the next picture, we'll have to move it. But what we find is that the fake UFO keeps its pixel pattern and essentially stays the same. And in our original photos, that's simply not the case. So, is there something really floating alongside this airplane? I found this photo to be fake and somewhat convincing all at the same time. Let me know your opinion in the comments down below. Lastly, I just wanted to share with you an interview of Bill Cooper where he talks about witnessing a very large disk entering and exiting our ocean. You may or may have not heard this interview before, but it's certainly worth revisiting with all the recent talks of UFOs coming in and out of our ocean. The clip is a bit long, so go ahead and grab some popcorn and let's take a listen.
While we were on a transit from the Portland-Seattle area on the surface, I actually saw, I was the port lookout, and I saw the most incredible thing that I think I've ever seen in my life. And it had such a profound effect upon my view of the universe and the world that we live in, that I wish everybody could experience this. I saw come up out of the ocean, from beneath the surface of the sea, a huge disc-shaped craft about the size of a midway-class aircraft carrier, which is tremendous in size. Even though that's one of our smallest carriers, or was then, it's still a huge, tremendously big object. Came up out of the ocean and rose into the air and tumbled on its axis and went up into the clouds, and I was awestruck, dumbstruck. And I mean dumbstruck literally. I could not utter a sound. And my first impulse was to tell the officer of the deck that I'd seen a flying saucer, and then luckily for me I couldn't talk, because on second thought that's not what I really wanted to say, because I didn't want to be the only Looney Tunes character on a submarine with a tight-knit crew that you had to live in close quarters with, because that's a hell of a way to live. So I told the officer of the deck that I'd seen something about 15 degrees off the port bow at a relative distance of about 2.5 nautical miles. And he began to look in that area. And the starboard lookout had heard me tell him this, and he began to look over there. And while we were all three watching, either the same craft or another one exactly like it came down out of the clouds, tumbled again on its, why it did this maneuver, I don't know, but every single time it did it. It's like it came down in this attitude, and then it flipped over, and then entered the water. And the water just appeared to open up in front of it. It's just like the account in the Bible about the parting of the Red Sea. That's exactly what happened. The sea actually parted, and this thing went into the water, and then it closed up behind it. And this big spray went up into the air. But it wasn't a spray from the craft hitting the water. It was a spray from the water coming back in to fill up this hole that had been created. And again, I'm thinking, this is incredible. What are we looking at here? And it was metal. It was a machine, and it wasn't glowing or anything like that. It didn't have any lights on it that we could see. But it was obviously metal, and it was obviously a machine. And although I can't tell you that there was anyone inside of it, I believe that there was. And it did something that, as far as I knew, was absolutely impossible. I'd been in the Air Force. I'd worked on the state-of-the-art of our aviation capabilities. And here I was on the deck of a submarine in the conning tower, and I knew what we had to be able to have to go underwater, and I knew that the two were incompatible. Here's something that came from under the water and flew in the air and performed maneuvers, and then came back down and interfaced with the water at tremendous speed and remained intact, which realistically it never touched the water. The water sort of magically opened up in front of it, but something had to interface with that water. Anything that we had that interfaced with the water in that manner would have been disintegrated. It's like hitting a brick wall. So I was looking at a technology that, as far as our laws of physics and what we knew at that time, didn't exist. This was in 1966. Ensign Ball was as shocked as I was. He called the captain to the bridge. He came up with the chief quartermaster, who brought a camera. And we all stood there and watched this occur over and over again for about 10 minutes. And I still to this day don't know if it was the same craft or a whole bunch of different craft going in and out of the water. But it seemed like that there was a hell of a lot of traffic on that freeway right there. And we were watching it as we went by. We never changed course. We never lowered or increased our speed. We made no attempt to communicate or signal. We made no attempt to get closer. And eventually, it just stopped.
You know, it really is amazing how long our military personnel has been witnessing these things and staying quiet about the whole thing. Can you imagine all the other accounts out there that just have never seen the light of day? To me, this is fascinating stuff, and I hope more and more people come forward with their accounts in the future. Now let's talk about our monthly hoodie giveaway. Each month for the foreseeable future, we will be giving away one free embroidered pullover hoodie to one lucky subscriber. All you have to do is be subscribed, leave a comment on an eligible video, and read the full list of rules at loveUFOshop.com/rules to be entered into our sweepstakes. Don't want to wait to get a hoodie? Then you can shop merch at loveUFOshop.com and help support this channel. We always really appreciate it. And that'll do it for today's episode. Please consider subscribing so you don't miss our analysis of the Turkish UFO incident. And as always, this is Jesse. Please share this content whenever you can with like-minded individuals and let everyone know that we love the UFOs. Till next time.